My caregiving journey started with my son. He had some seizures. They didn't think that he was going to make it.
Dad was diagnosed with dementia in 2014. Literally at that moment, everything was going to change.
My wife Lynn and I started to notice that she was just confused. Sure enough, dementia was in the picture.
My son was 14 months old, was found on the pond over there, near drowning, and in 5 days he woke up different child. So
it started off with my brother, diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy at the age of 6. The caregiving role was kind of thrusted upon our entire family. And our mom was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. Although I want to feel like it's made me like the person who I am, embracing the role of being a caregiver, I feel like, hey, maybe I could make another person's like day a little better.
My experience here was that she had a terrible fall and was taken by ambulance to the hospital. Went to go in the hospital and they said, oh no, there's no visitors allowed back there. I said, well, I'm not a visitor. This isn't somebody coming just to say hi, I hope you're okay. This is someone there to make sure she can respond to questions. And that wasn't allowed to happen.
well, the caregiver is 24 hours, 24/7 for years, months, or whatever, and know that person. The person that you look after relies on you, trusts on you. So who is that person to give comfort? We are.
My mom was diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's about 14, 15 years ago now. I never really considered myself a caregiver until I had a provider actually kind of call me out and was like, no, you're actually the caregiver, and I want you to recognize that, I want you to acknowledge that, and I want you to take that role into ownership. What a caregiver looks like can be so diverse, can be so different, it can be so unique, and so to really be open to support them and to understand that they are an integral part of their care, and so they need to be part of these important conversations in terms of the continuum of care and how can we make sure that the well-being of the person is as best as it can be.
I'm very lucky and very grateful that we've had such positive experiences from staff at hospital. For them to be open and empathetic, knowing that we're trying to help them and make sure that Dad receives the best care, were really important to us, and they stay with us.
My partner had 2 strokes. I always say when I go into a hospital, I am his spouse, I am his caregiver, and I am a substitute decision maker. Caregiver first. They objectively can see their person. The caregiver also saves a ton of time in the medical system by being able to share that story, by being able to identify when something's a problem and when it isn't. More importantly, the caregiver is the implementer of any action plan. So when you omit the caregiver from a conversation, you are sub-optimizing without question that patient's health.
I think it's important to have empathy for caregivers because I think of the conversations I have with those folks as they come through the hospital. When I talk about social work and discharge planning, I look at sort of where the person was before their stroke and hospitalization, and I look at where they are leaving. And when I mesh it all together, I want to see kind of the things that are missing, right? I can't do that unless I know who's in this person's life.
We need to start looking proactively at how to care for caregivers. And I think part of that is simply just listening to them and including them in the care planning. Because you can come up with a care plan and think it's like the greatest thing in the world, but if their caregiver can't do it, then it's pointless. I truly mean that we cannot care for the patients without the caregivers.
They need more than the medication. They need that love, that comfort, that security that somebody cares.
Burnout is real for people who are caregiving, and just, I was asking them, like, how are you really doing? Like, really, like, how can I help you? And as a caregiver, accept the help.
The effectiveness of caregivers in terms of creating fewer healthcare problems has been proven over and over again. It's got to come from a place that says we value caregivers and see them as critical to our success in treating patients.
I don't have any regrets to the way that I cared for him.
I was just a daughter taking care of my dad, who was my best friend. So to identify as a caregiver, knowing that there are other caregivers out there is really important.
I go and I'm like, no, I'm a caregiver. And I present myself that way in my conversations with my mom's providers because I find that that really changes the way that the conversations take place.
The relationship with my brother continues to evolve. There's been moments that he tells me, it's like, hey, thank you. To be able to hear that, I know that they are appreciative of what we do as their advocate and carer.
We, as a caregivers, we do an amazing job, and we have to be proud of that. And yes, I'm proud to be a caregiver.